Hello everyone, welcome back, and finally I've got round to doing the answers to my Etsy Ask Me Anything video that I put up a while back. I've got a ton of questions here. I think there's 60, something like that. So I'm going to work through them with you today, and we're going to go through them question by question. I'm going to do one of the questions that got asked at least 5 or 6 times. I'm going to answer that for all of you, because there's no point in repeating it. So the question that I think at least 5 or 6 of you asked, and is the first question to answer today, is Etsy ads worth it? So I kept getting this question, is Etsy ads worth it? The short answer is, for most sellers, no. No, it's not. Most sellers don't even realize or know whether they're making any money with Etsy ads or not. As a rule of thumb, you want to be looking for a ROAS, a return on advertising spend, of $4 for every dollar you spend. That's just a guide. It might be more, it might be less for you, but generally speaking, 4 to 1, $4 earned for every dollar you spend is a good target to aim for. That being said, Etsy make Etsy ads convoluted, difficult to understand, and difficult to work out if you're actually making money or not. One of the prime failing points of Etsy ads is that they only give you 2 years of data to work with, and I think that is absolutely scandalous, because you need complete data, otherwise how can you make informed decisions? So overall, my recommendations, is Etsy ads a good idea? Probably not. You'll probably lose money, but to test it, to try it and see. So that's the answer for a few people who asked that question. Now, let's get into these, and I'm going to have to read from you because I've got so many of them, so bear with me. Let's go through. So Peterbilt Troy says, Nick, my question is, when listing new items, is it just a matter of waiting until the algorithm picks that item up, or is there a way to improve the ranking of the listing? So one of the best ways to improve the conversion rate, because that's what makes ranking, you've got to start selling, is to make sure that you tell a complete story in your photography. So you want to see the item and the packaging all together. You want to see decent product video, so make sure you've got a video, and if you can possibly put infographics in as well to explain about the item in bullet points, that helps the customer decide if they want to purchase or not. So that's one of the key ways that you can increase ranking and conversion rate. Okay, number 2, Jennifer and James Paper. They say they make autograph books for Disney, which worries me. So I haven't looked at your store, but anything to do with Disney is a huge no-no on Etsy, so you may want to check that, but I'm not going to say anything more than that. I haven't seen your store, so I don't know what you mean when you say autograph books for Disney. You might not have anything Disney in there at all. Anyway, the question is, I've been listing each book individually. Is there a better way to do this? No, that's the correct way to do it. Always list individually, especially when you're growing your store. You need to build the store, you need to build the number of items and get exposure. So that's actually the correct way to do it. Next question, Pacific Blue says, is doing product on demand, I think they mean print on demand, as the sole source of products feasible? I'm finding blank products to be very expensive, making it really difficult to be competitive. Yeah, absolutely. There's thousands and thousands of Etsy stores out there that do print on demand as a sole product source. Yes, the answer is yes. Dimitris, he's given me like 5 questions. I'll quickly go through these. Let's see what we have. So question 1. How much, this is interesting, how much in percentage of total selling price is a good profit margin? This is a question I get asked a lot. And my answer as a general rule is 30%. 30% margin or above is good. Question 2, how much, and again, this is asked all the time, how much is a good conversion rate for sellers on Etsy? And as a broad guide, 2%. 2% conversion rate is good. And if you're getting close to that, you're doing well. Question number 3, are these 2 questions that I've asked, profit margin and conversion, connected? Should conversion rate be even higher when profit margin is low? Well, they have a relationship. And your sweet spot is to find a good conversion rate that works with your profit margin. Obviously, if your profit margin is really high, your conversion rate is going to go down. You've got to find the relationship between the two, a profit margin that works for you and a conversion rate that works as well. Number four, sorry. How can you raise your conversion rate for your listings? I answered that earlier. Photography and video is how you raise your conversion rate. Improve both. Number 5, Dimitri says he's never happy with his photos and videos. Would it be possible to show us some good Etsy listing photos or provide some links to have a look at? I will do this in the description for this video so that you can see examples. That's the best way I can do it. Okay, next question. There's a lot to get through here. I hope this is moderately interesting or holding your attention. Panina says, what should I do with listings that don't sell? How do you do listing management? Well, listings that don't sell are dragging your store down. So that's a huge problem. You have to have listing management, which means you need to give time to your listings in your store. How long should they stay in your store? A good guide is 12 months. 12 months to decide whether a listing is working or not, and then remove it if it's not working. Lily Rose then asks, is offering free shipping a good idea, or should I roll it into the price of the item, or would you just have separate costs for shipping? My answer to this is always test it. You have to test it, and test it on multiple items. So 10 items, 20 items, 30 items. Do a split test. Make one set of listings with free shipping, make another set of listings with item price plus shipping. Lily Rose also says, what do you think of the star seller badge in relation to shipping? And she's talking about in terms of having tracked parcels, it costing more. Honestly, Lily, star seller is just a nothing burger. Don't worry about it. Don't think you've got to sit there and have increased shipping costs just to get star seller. Not necessary. It makes no difference to your store at the moment, so don't worry about that. Okay, next question. Louise Murphy says, I want to get above 100 listings in my shop as you suggest. Would you say it's okay to show the different colours and options of my items in different listings to increase the numbers? Absolutely yes. This is one of the short-term techniques I use to increase client stores. They say, well, I've only got 15 items, but I've got 8 colours of each or 4 sizes of each. Yes, split them out. SEO each item for the colour, for the size. That's gold for you, short-term, over a few months. The answer is yes, you should do that. And then Louise says, should I change titles and tags on these listings to appeal to different customers? In brackets, I've heard that having the same title will mean competing with myself, and this is bad. The answer is yes. You need to differentiate. I call it finding the difference. So find the difference in each listing's SEO where you can talk about something different, be it color, size, texture, shape, use. Yes, please do that. Find the difference. Okay. Louise also says, is it complicated to set up international shipping? It depends on what country you're in, and it depends on what carriers you have available to use. My experience, no, not at all. Not at all. We ship internationally. We take our packages to the post office and we send them off and pay the appropriate shipping fee. Okay, Jeff says, he's got a few questions here. Question 1, what's your process for finding new products to sell? So the number 1 process is use the Etsy marketplace, look at what's selling, and then say to yourself, well, how can I differentiate? How can I make my products better than what's already selling? In terms of what I do, well, I'm a supplier. I'm a supply store. So my job is to find good suppliers who can give me the raw materials for my supplies to sell to my customers. So I have to always have 5 or 6 suppliers that are decent, reliable, and trustworthy. So that's my answer to that. Question 2, what's your pricing strategy, higher or lower than the competition? Do you raise prices after a listing gets traction? Do you always run sales? So first of all, do I always run sales? No, hardly ever. Hardly ever run sales. You don't need to do that. Basically, sales, the more you run them, the less effective they are. Do them around the main selling occasions like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, Easter, and so on. What's my pricing strategy, higher or lower than competition? Higher. I'm never interested in being low price and the cheapest option. That's not the way to sell on Etsy. Build a brand, build quality in your photography and your video and your products, and set the price towards the higher end. Sell for quality. Etsy's not about price. I mean, of course, there's market forces, but I'm always advising clients, let's be the best. Let's make a difference. Let's twist our products. Let's not just be another run-of-the-mill store. Let's push. And that's something that I have one of my core values when I teach my clients. So towards the higher end is what I do. Obviously, if you've got a specific item that you want to get traction on, maybe you can test a lower price, but it's not something that I advise clients to do. The brand, the quality score of the store will end up pushing your items up and getting sales, but you can test it. Test it is my answer for that. Question number 3, one of my listings is a bestseller and my other listings barely sell. How do I get traction with my other listings? So the point is, you have to keep listing and testing new items. This is one of the core aspects of succeeding on Etsy. You've got to have a long-term plan. This is why I'm always saying to you guys and my clients, you've got to get to 100 items. That's just to start. Get to 100 items to start. See where you are. Consolidate. Are you selling? Yes. Keep going. Keep listing. Once you keep listing, more winning products are going to come out from the items that you're selling. A lot of them will fail. That's totally normal. For example, in digital stores, up to 50% of the items you sell won't even work. That's half of your entire stock. For a physical store, it's usually 20 to 30%. So yeah. Number 4, question 4 from Jeff. At what point, if ever, should you start using social media, paid Etsy ads, Facebook and or Google ads for your shop? So the answer to this is ideally never, Jeff. Ideally never. We don't want to be sending advertising traffic to our Etsy store. You do not get rewarded for quality score at the sale level. Send it to your website. In terms of Etsy ads, I answered that at the beginning. Overwhelmingly, most people, they either break even or they don't make money. Etsy is the winner from Etsy ads. We have to remember that. Okay, next page. I've got tons of pages to go. I might split this into 2. Because there's too many questions. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So this is part 1 now, guys. I'm going to do a part 2 next week and release that. I'll answer a few more questions out and then we're going to do part 2 next week. Okay, Top 10 Geek, good name, says, number 1, is it okay to put join my email list words in your shop banner and on the email that the buyer gets after they purchase? Yes, you can do that. You can also put in your packaging. You can put stuff related to your marketing. Number 2, I saw one of my big Etsy shop competitors' banner putting their website URL and selling the same items in their shop and their Etsy and their website. This is not against Etsy house rules. No, you can sell items in your Etsy store, items in your website. There's nothing to stop you putting the URL in your banner. Question 3, I'll be mainly selling downloadable files on my Etsy shop and I can send the email to these buyers to visit my website to purchase POD items for that downloadable. Okay, so again, this is marketing. So if you've got a physical store, most people put cards in and things telling them about their websites and so on. If you put something in your deliverable, so there's a text file and it's got your website address in it, you can do that, yes. Becky Long says, what is your opinion on setting up automated coupons for someone who favourites an item or for an abandoned cart? Okay, Becky, my opinion is go for it. I don't massively have an opinion on it. It's only going to be a tiny percentage of your overall sales volume. Try it, test it, see if it works for you. Okay, Winona says, actually no, I've already answered that in another question, so I don't need to do that one. Ian says, here's my questions. Question 1, for digital prints, how often should I run sales? Have one that resets 24 hours or every month? My answer is, as I said before, run sales very infrequently because then they're more effective and offer a decent discount so that you get real impact from your sale. So for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which is coming, 20%, 30%, real impact. Question 2, optimal percentage off the target price range for the above question. I've just answered that, 20%, 30%. Question 3, should sales only include a percentage off or order total? I prefer to do percentage off. It's more effective because then they're getting a defined amount off no matter what they order in terms of volume. Hope that helps, Ian. Right, next question, Little Pond Gaming. They say their Etsy shop is only a month old and I've had a hard time with pricing. Most of my customers are from the US, but I'm from the EU. Shipping is $12 for where I live. Do you think it's a good idea to put some of the shipping cost into the price? Okay, so what I teach my Etsy clients and you guys is be proud of your price, stand behind your price, don't take the hit with the shipping, because there is always going to be a customer out there that wants your product. Okay, you need to earn your profit for your product and you need to have a fair shipping price. You're not making money on the shipping, but I don't want you losing money on the shipping. So test it. Do free shipping with the correct amount into the price and test item price plus full shipping price and see what works for you. Next question from Little Pond is, also if I sell art prints for therapists that I print myself, but it's high quality, what is the price range you need to stay within? I did a lot of research, but it's still really hard. Is there a typical art print price range at all? The answer is no. No, there isn't. Yes, okay, if you look at print on demand, A4 wall prints, yeah, they're all sort of $8, $10, $12, $14. But when you start talking about, quality art prints, the prices vary wildly. Make sure you cover your costs, make sure you've got good profit in there for you, and charge that appropriate price. Yeah. Okay, so last question in today's Ask Me Anything is from Paige Kennedy, and she says, I struggle with getting multiple listings up. She sells crystals. I sell crystals too. I struggle choosing items to stock. I try so hard to make good quality selections. I'd love it to be my full-time job. Is multi-listings with 20 in stock? Remember, I teach you guys to have 20 or more in stock for everything. Etsy knows how much you've got in stock. If you've only got 1 or 2 in stock, that's no good for quality score. It's going to go out of stock. So I say 20 in stock for everything. So she says, is multiple listings with 20 plus available truly the only way? I'm struggling so much with this concept. Yes, this is the only way. I mean, yes, you can sell one of each item and only have 50 items in your store. That's not going to give you the revenue you want. When you're selling crystals and gemstones, you want hundreds of items. And to get those hundreds of items, you need multiple suppliers. So multiple reliable sources where you can get the raw stones, the raw beads, the raw minerals. That's your work. That's the goal here. And look at the Etsy marketplace to see what's selling. Look and see what's working already. There's nothing confusing about this. See what's working, find your suppliers, half a dozen. I use 6 suppliers. In fact, I think it's 7 all around the world to do my crystal work. You need to do the same. Put that work in now. You'll be rewarded as your store grows and you've got more stock. You'll sell more. So that's part 1 finished of the Ask Me Anything. I'm going to do a part 2. And for everyone that's managed to get this far and hasn't left the AMA and watched the video, got a little bit of gold for you. Next week, I'm going to be starting to do a new series called Off the Record. Now, Off the Record is where I go off the beaten track, away from the noise. I mean, I do this anyway. I'm away from what everyone else does on YouTube with Etsy anyway, but I'm going to be raising, it's like a late night version of what I do already. So I'm going to be approaching controversial subjects. I'm going to be giving you opinions and facts and insight that will probably ruffle some feathers and cause controversy. Off the Record, episode 1 next week. It's going to be on something that I know you lot are really interested in, Etsy ads. So episode 1 of Off the Record next week is exposing the truth about Etsy ads, and I know it's going to go well, and it should be really interesting for you guys. So thank you for getting this far in this video today. Get into my comments if you've got any questions, anything you want to say about Etsy, anything you want to ask me about the Off the Record, which is coming next week, and I'll see you guys in the next one soon. Cheers.